Wednesday. It's hump day, November 29th. And yeah, it's low energy Gary again. I slept most of the day. I had NyQuil. Thank you for all the kind messages. Vitamin C, just had some French toast with some orange juice. And I'm trying to not talk most of the day because my parents have awful coughs, just awful coughs. So I try and not talk so that I can get through stuff like this. But the Qs were up. Here's my note. The first thing in my notes is Q3 GDP was revised, advances to 5.2%. That's a phenomenal quarterly GDP. Just understand it went from 4.9 to 5.2. So you're going to see just stocks rally on that. The futures are up. The Qs in pre-market are up 0.63, almost 1% to 392. So you're up here. You still have confirmation. There's no reason to get out of stocks that you're in unless they lose confirmation. And again, you just want to sit and be patient. Am I getting into stuff? Not really. But there are 4 stocks to watch today, including Salesforce reports after the bell. This is one Salesforce I currently own. It is not in the core portfolio. And the reason it's not in the core portfolio is it's been crazy expensive. And it trades between 200 and 220. And it keeps falling back. And you can see this one down here to 133 back in December of last year. And then it's made its way back. But you can see here, look at this little channel right here. This starts July. Let's go to January. We'll go to January 2023. And you're going to see an upward trend in this. But in the recent mark, it's been, kind of just fluttering in that look. Kind of came down, fluttering. You do have confirmation. I just think the valuation is a little bit much. Now, here's what you have to understand. If they mention AI 100 times in this thing's going to fly to 240. The PE is 140. The forward PE is 24. Year to date, you're up 90%. It's been a solid stock. I just, these highs back here at 299. I think that's probably a moonshot, if you will. I think right now, if you were looking at this one, in my mind, you come to this point right here at 242 and you potentially have a 5% move. So I don't think it's worth getting into at this point. I think you wait for the earnings. Again, earnings are something that typically people don't play around, but you do have those coming up. Another one to watch is GM. GM is surging. And the reason they're surging is, let me get to my other note, because Phil LeBeau from CNBC put out the best tweet, I think, on this one. They're retiring stock. And they're retiring stock in a huge way. Announced that 17% of the outstanding shares will be retired. And they're retiring them immediately, I believe. This one's up 10% to 31. If we go and look, you're in at 28 on the algorithm. 31 is way up here. 31.78 in pre-market. You're bouncing up against that 200-day. That 200-day is at 32, almost 33. That would be where I would say the resistance of the day would be. If we go back and we look at a weekly here, you're seeing right here, this 43 is kind of the top that they've gotten to. When with them retiring 30% of the or some 17% of the stock, it's at 31.84. You're still way down here on the weekly. You just got confirmation on the weekly. So I'm not a big fan of GM. She just, their CEO, don't like her. I mean, their cars, don't like them. They're getting rid of CarPlay. What do you think their cars are going to do when they get rid of CarPlay and they install their own crappy software on there? In my mind, I don't think it's worth a trade, but I think you've missed out on it. So watch those. For anybody who's in MPLX or Boyle or any natural gas, I will include this article in the newsletter, U.S. Natural Gas Winter Weather Prices and Production. It's a great overview of natural gas, how the Permian Basin supply, we've been able to extract more natural gas out of the Permian Basin, and how the mid producers, which is MPLX, they've been benefiting from it. And if we go back here and we just look at MPLX is in the core portfolio. And the reason it's in the core portfolio is because of the dividend. It's a huge dividend. If we go over here and we look at FinViz MPLX has a 8.99% dividend. I've had this. I think my average purchase price is like $8 or something. I bought it right after the pandemic started and everything started crashing. They announced that they would continue their dividend at no problem. And so I said a 10% dividend in a market that's down 20%. I'm all over that. So MPLX, you had an entry here at 35.70. You're trading at 36.11. I think you're bouncing up against highs here. And if we go to a weekly, we look at this, it's not going to provide you an enormous return. What you're doing this for is really just capital preservation in that dividend. And as long as they're able to continue to extract natural gas and things, then you're going to do fine in this one. But at 36, I'd probably wait for it to dip down to 32 if you're looking for an entry. But that article is a great article, especially if you're in Boyle and to understand Boyle and KOLD. CrowdStrike last night, earnings were solid. Shay Ballor, he's been great. And even Bradley Ferguson had some great coverage of CrowdStrike and just how good the earnings were. And you can follow these guys. I'm still owning CrowdStrike. I think I sold 2 shares last night at about 212, 210, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it was just, hey, I'm going to sell it right now. And I just hit the sell button. And it was 2 shares. It's not a large thing. They blew away their earnings. Let's look at their stock right now. CrowdStrike. It's not in the core portfolio. I still hold this one in my personal portfolio, but they're trading at 223. Market just opened. Look, they gapped up on earnings. Essentially, that's what you want to see in a stock is solid earnings, and they gap up. Then you can take advantage of that. It's at 222. I sold at 212. Sold 1 or 2 shares. It's a solid company. If you put money into that one at 180, you're well in. I mean, I think I've got buys at the 150s, 160s, 180s. I've got a bunch in this one. Not as much as I have in Palo Alto Networks, but I do have a good position in this one. An interesting list. I told you Shay. I really like him, and I really like his analysis on this stuff. But he's got a great list, and I'll include a link to this tweet. Disney, Zoom, ADYEY, I don't even know that one. C Limited, Square, Block, Etsy, VozFace, Roblox, Twilio, DocuSign, SoFi, PayPal, and Fiverr. These are solid companies that have been beaten down and haven't really come back. And part of the reason they haven't come back is they're still expensive. But he's got some great, if you follow him on Twitter, if you follow him on Savvy Trader, he's a great resource for some great growth names that could be flying. So Shay, I really like him. Give him a shout out. I really enjoy his tweets, enjoy his analysis and everything that he's got going on. Mara, if you haven't noticed, Bitcoin and crypto have been flying. Mara broke through the 200-day here. And it's at 1227. If you're in at 942, this is a solid gain. Mara has just been flying. And again, the algorithm doesn't do any justice on 4 hour. You lose 50% versus losing 75%. But in times like this, when it's under the 200-day, I'd like to kind of do the return. You got the 50-day moving positive. The 200-day is still moving negative. You have confirmation above there. Am I telling you to buy here at 1227? Probably not. But as we get closer to that spot Bitcoin ETF, that is going to be huge. And this is one that could go flying. An article that I found was interesting. I noticed that GameStop, for all the meme traders, GameStop was flying. It's up, 18% today. 18% on GameStop. So I was like, what's the news on it? There's no news. It's jumping as we approach earnings. So, where's their earnings? Let's see. Their earnings come up post-market December 6th. So it's next week. It's just jumping on news on earnings. There's nothing in this stock that says, oh my God, it's going to fly. It's going to, they've already done, it's got a short interest of 22%. So are we getting into another short squeeze? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, this would be the greatest short squeeze of all time if it does it again. So I don't think you should get into it. The volume crazy increases, but the algorithm, the 4-hour algorithm got you in at 1313 and you're at 1585. There's no reason that you should have known. There's no news. There's no catalyst. There's no nothing. So just understand that the algorithm loses you 31% over 2 years. You lose 72% if you bought and held. This is one that you want to trade, but you've been trading it this whole way down. You've lost, and then all of a sudden you win. There's no magic in the candles, nothing that you can do to actually know, oh my God, this is the winner. But there you go, GameStop. It's a crazy, crazy one. Let's see. From Justin on Spotify, can you look at Waste Management? I love the show. Thanks, Justin. Waste Management is WM. I love the golf tournament in Phoenix, I think it is. Here you go. I think I've gone over this one before. You had this gap up here to 170, covered it. It's now capitulating there. It's kind of putting in that button hook that I talked to you all about the time. Now, November 30th is your ex-dividend date. Your MACD is crossed down. Your RSI is still going down. The algorithm doesn't have you out, but you don't have confirmation. So if you're in this one and you're trading it, I would probably get out of it and just look. Let's look at the weekly. I mean, you're at all-time highs. It definitely up in this area. If you're looking, I would say this right here at about 177. That looks to be resistance. So breaking through there is probably going to be tough. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it just hits it right there. If we go and look, it's probably expensive. The PE is 26. The forward PE is 25. Garbage is something that's always going to be around. It's up 8% year to date. It's got a 2.78% dividend. Target price is 180 and you're trading at 170. November 27th, Wells Fargo equal weight. Let's go over and let's look at Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha ratings, 3. I mean, it's a hold. These guys can't justify its valuation. The valuation's where it's getting killed. And that's the only reason. So if you're trading it, I'd probably take some profits on this, about 170 to 180 if it hits there. And then have your support level down in this area at the, let's see, probably at the 150 level, I would say. Probably at that level. That seems to be fine for me. But Justin, hopefully that helps you a little bit. Nate, I would love to hear BR, Broadridge Financial. I own it at 168. Thanks for your help. Nate's from Spotify, so let's look at BR. And just full disclosure, I don't know anything about BR, Broadridge Financial, but I did look it up on the YouTube Live right before this. You've got confirmation if you're in it. 168, I think you said. Yeah. Algorithm gets you in at 171. If you bought in at 168 down here, that gap fill, 166, it's already filled the gap, so you don't have anything below it. You do have a gap here between 178 and 179. You have confirmation. It's going strong. Where I think this is where Seeking Alpha comes in, and where I think Seeking Alpha could benefit people is if we just go home. Let me put in BR, Broadridge Financial. There we go. And this is, if you're interested in Seeking Alpha and you're looking at the difference between Seeking Alpha and TrendSpider. TrendSpider is technical. And it's charts, and they got their Black Friday or Cyber Monday sale still going on for a day. I think it's under $300. Go look at the link in the link tree. But here, this is the technicals, and this is just 100% charts. Doesn't you have news, you have insider trading. TrendSpider has a ton of information that you can use. But if you just want to take a glance at something and you want to look at BR and you don't know what they do. This is where Seeking Alpha really comes into play and the premium comes into play. You get to look at these ratings. So Seeking Alpha has as a buy at 3.5. Wall Street, buy at 3.65. Quant, hold at 3.21. And you look over here at the analysis and you can see there's 2 buys, 3 holds. It definitely looks like it's got some solid fundamentals. The valuation, again, is what's crazy. When you get to these highs, the valuation is what's crazy. And if I were to look at long term, you're bumping right up against the all-time highs there. And so in my mind with BR, you want to be careful around this 185, 190 level, because that's where, we could get another breakout and another leg up. But are there better places for you to put your money in something? BR has a solid, I think they have it's expensive if we go over here to FinViz. The PE is 33, forward PE is 22. It's this information technology company, so that's not crazy, but it is high when you can buy like a Meta or something else that's growing. And its target price is 190 and you're trading at 188. So Nate, I would say, hey, if you're trading this one, get out, take your profits. Don't get out completely, but definitely start trimming it around this. But BR is a great example. If you want TrendSpider, if you want Seeking Alpha, Linktree/daily stock pick, linktr.ee. The link is down below. It's just that you save even more than $50 up until Friday, and then it changes over to the $50. But that's the exact reason why I like Seeking Alpha, is it gives you that one look kind of thing. Trevor, what do you think of MU dipping this week? They have a massive construction project breaking ground where I'm at. I hear good things to start making chips here now, along with the R&D. They already do here. Any insight on this one? I heard MU had a warning. And let me see if it came out here. There was some type of revision. Micron raises guidance for fiscal year 1Q. Okay. So I think they lowered guidance, and that's what that dip was caused by. If we look at MU today, it's up 3.42, and you've gotten it back. So, Trevor, I probably missed the boat on this one, but if you listen to the algorithm, you're in at 67. I like Micron. I think Micron is a solid company. As far as chips go, they will be part of the infrastructure deal with the chips deal with Intel, where they will be making chips here in the U.S. It's a huge construction project. The problem that you have with this one is they are losing money. So I think there's better chip companies out there that you could do, but this is probably one that you could invest in. I just, the top there at 96, I would say if you get near the 90s, you're trading at 78 right now. If you get near in the 90s, I think you start taking profits. But you can clearly see the 200-day is where it wants to be at, specifically in decent times. You can see down during COVID, it just kind of dipped. And then we had the overreaction of COVID and money in the system. Then you had the dip, and then you had the run back up in 2022 into January, into the end of the year. And then this 2022 was a nightmare. 2023 has been solid. So I don't know too much about Micron, but I do know it's a good company. I do know they will be one of the chip makers here, and I think that's something that you probably want to invest in. So let's go into scans. The top scan that I had today, ironically, Tesla. Tesla has a gap fill. It's already filled that gap. It's got a second leg up. So when I say, bullish, this just means a MACD cross up. And so MACD cross up here on a second leg is solid. The problem that you have is the RSI is at 69, so you're taking a chance buying it here at 251. The Cybertruck event takes place tomorrow. If they come out and they announce that the Cybertruck is $40,000 on the single motor, that's going to be huge. I mean, that's going to be amazing. I think they're making the double motor. But Cybertruck deliveries will start tomorrow. So this has a huge amount of press and interest in it right now. You just got over the 200-day. I'm scared of this stock. I just, you could buy it at 250, and then tomorrow they come out with $100,000 price on the Cybertruck, and maybe one of the things gets dented or a window gets broken again, and then all of a sudden you're down at 200. So I like this one at XLY. That's particularly what I buy. XLY is up 1% right now. Tesla is up 2.17%. I don't get the extreme volatility that I have in Tesla, but XLY owns Tesla in a big way. Walmart has a cross up. We had that earnings and the pullback. Walmart has a cross up here at 158.72. You're trading at 157. I expect this gap to be filled up to 168. The consumer is still strong. So you have the MACD down here. If you want to know an opportunity, I think Walmart's an opportunity. Start your position in Walmart. I don't think that you're going down to 120. 158 is a solid 157 right now. Solid price. This clean energy ETF that I took out of the core portfolio is QCLN. They had another leg up, so they should be going another. It's up 3% today. This one owns Tesla in a large portion as well. 34.46 was the buy-in. I hold this one. I think my average price is around 11 on this one. I got in really, really early on this one, so I still hold it. It's not in the core portfolio. One that I think a lot of people followed me in on was PayPal. And PayPal, we have another leg up in this one. 51.91 was the buy. You're at 59.08, which is a fantastic price for this stock. Again, this one's growing. I think it's a solid play. It's completely undervalued. The problem is the margins. If they continue to get the margins squeezed, it's the same thing with Square. Square, you have at 43.45 right here. And it's got confirmation. You're over the 200-day. This has been a huge run, and you have another leg up. A couple of the ETFs, the levered ETFs, TSLL, this is 1.55 on Tesla. This has another leg up. If you're in at 10, you're at 15 right now. This is like a 50% move, by the way, just since November 2nd in this one. So that's a solid gain. DRN, which is a levered on the real estate, triple levered on the real estate. This is a solid move. 607 up to 804. Huge move in that one. And there's others, DRN, Lemonade, Fiverr, which are beaten down. We can look at Lemonade real quick. It's a AI company that does insurance, I believe. I'm not that familiar with it. I've traded this one in the past. It's a solid player. You have another move up, and you've got this gap up here at 21. You could make it, if you're in at 13 and they had their earnings and you've continued up to 19, it's a solid move, and you got that gap up there. Fiverr is another one. I'm a big fan of Fiverr. It's just the valuation is extended. You haven't hit the 200-day. 200 days at 26. You're trading at 25. It's got another leg up. One that I want to, and there's a couple more that I'll include in the newsletter, but my throat's getting a little dry right now, so I'm going to end this one right here. But Cisco, I wanted to tell you about Cisco because Cisco had their guidance was bad on this 111. And they said, hey, we're having some trouble with some inventory, blah, blah, blah. They gapped down. The gap is all the way up to 53. I think this 47.84, I think is a solid play here. You do have a long time for it to get back up to those levels. This is not a fast mover. But I do think that $50 range from 48 is within range. You're under the 200-day here. Your 50-day is starting to move negative. It probably will get pulled down. This 9 and the 10 are there. But from a 4-hour standpoint, from a short term, if you wanted a stock that if you just held it at 48, say you have $1,000 that you want to get into Cisco, put $100 in today at 47. It's trading at 48, 38, 31. And this gap is decent enough. Put $100 in next week. And if it's at 46, then you've got an even, better price. Dollar cost averaging a stock like Cisco is not a horrible strategy. It won't make you things like, the Palantirs that are going up to 25. It won't make you that type of trade, but it will provide you a solid base. And it's a solid company. And I think they were mentioned to potentially buy Zoom, which could be a big benefit to them as well. So, okay, support the podcast. Go to Linktree. The Black Friday sale on TrendSpider still going on. It's under $300. Just click on that link. What you do is you click on that link and then you email me. This goes on for another day. If you want the Seeking Alpha deal, like I said, Seeking Alpha is nice. When you don't know a stock or you hear about something and you want to research it, that's where Seeking Alpha comes in. Webull has the best desktop software if you're not with Fidelity. I like Active Trader Pro. Daily Stock Pick newsletter. Sign up, dailystockpick.substack.com or this link right here. Visible sale is still going on. Save $20 off your first month of Visible. Boy, I'm getting at it. And yeah, okay, just go to Linktree. I'm out of breath. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily Stock Pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. hopes and fears.